This episode of the Digital Desperados Podcast is brought to you by SaferNet VPN, found online at safernet.com.
Welcome to the Digital Desperados Podcast, featuring dark tales from the web. Patrick McMurphy's here today, once again, to tell us our dark tale. He's joined by Brad Hawkins, founder and CEO of SaferNet VPN, and I'm Jim Brangenberg, and I'll serve as your story guide. And this podcast is, of course, brought to you by SaferNet VPN. Someone's always watching. How else would they know how to advertise on the side of your screen for stuff you've just talked about in the living room? Stay safe in your family room. Stay safe in your business with SaferNet VPN. Our easy-to-use cybersecurity app keeps businesses and families protected. They got VPN with internet controls and virus protection and 84 web filters for distraction-free online environment. Get secured now. Sign up at safernet.com. That's safernet.com. Okay, Patrick, who do you have for us today? What dark tale are you bestowing upon us today?
Well, today I shall bestow on the dark tale of Michael Calche, aka Mafia Boy. And so Michael's actually a first for us because we know about Michael's childhood. He wasn't born in darkness like the rest of them. So Michael is from Canada. His parents were separated, and so he would spend every second week with his father. Now, when he spent those weeks with his father was always very busy with work. And so he kept Michael occupied with Rubik's Cubes, Lego, problem-solving toys. Immediately as a kid, he was into problem-solving and just logic problems. But at the same time, he felt isolated from his friends back in his mother's neighborhood and things like this. So his father would eventually purchase his own computer for him at the age of 6. And Michael was obsessed with this computer. And at the age of 6, he was reading coding books and hardware books. So straight out the gate, right?
Oh my
we
goodness.
See this kid who's extraordinarily gifted. The guy is probably a better coding at 6 than I am at like 30 something, So Michael had a 30-day trial for AOL. And I don't know if you guys remember when AOL had these 30-day trials, and you would have to basically pay with a credit card if you want to extend it. But, at an early age, they don't give kids credit cards is what I'm trying to say here. And so Michael finds this program called AOL, right? And I won't get too deep into this, but what AOL was that it was a scripting tool that would allow you to basically perform different acts on a AOL that you shouldn't have been able to do. For example, it allowed him to appear as an admin in the AOL chat rooms.
Now,
and so
this is him at 6 years old?
He's actually 9 at this point.
Oh.
So he's getting on in the years, 9 years old with his first scripting tool. And so what Michael discovers at age of 9 with AOL is that he discovers social engineering. And so because Michael is only ever able to find 30-day trials from magazines and things, he actually social engineers the other users on AOL chat. He appears as an admin and gets their login details and then just takes their accounts off them so he can keep going back online the whole time. He said in later interviews that what he was doing here, that was the beginning of the rabbit hole for him. And so Michael eventually...
That reference, of course, to Alice in Wonderland. For those of you that are listening to this who have not watched that incredibly twisted tale or read it either. Yeah, the rabbit hole. Sucked in.
Absolutely. And so Michael finds IRC, which is Internet Relay Chat, which was very, very popular back in the day, back in the 90s especially. And IRC is really just a collection of chat rooms. It's the easiest way to explain it. And so Michael was an avid gamer, but he couldn't afford to buy games. He was at maybe about 10 or 11 at this point. But he did find an IRC channel that's distributing pirated games. And there was a hacking group running this channel, and they were recruiting. And so Michael applied, and the hackers, being, of sound moral sense, they told him that he's too young to become a hacker. And so Michael takes a bit of...
So it's good to know, Brad, that the hackers have some moral compass, and you got to be older in order to steal from people.
Yeah, exactly. If you can buy cigarettes, then you can hack someone. If you can't buy cigarettes, you're too young. So
good to know.
And so Michael kind of takes it as a bit of a challenge. And so the first thing he does, he hacks into a game developer's website and basically starts stealing the game files and distributing them. And so the hacking group are like, okay, this kid's onto something, let's recruit him. And so Michael and this group begin just hacking anything they can. They're stealing more games. They're breaking into university networks, any early business websites that are around. Michael described this period as he felt like hacking was intoxicating him. Anytime he breached a network, he said it was like a drug. And so Michael eventually turns age 13. So we're still in the formative years here. But Michael has built up this just very good reputation now as this wonder kid, basically. He's this wonder kid who can hack anything. And so he gets recruited by a group called TNT, who are known as being one of the most elite hacking groups in that circle at the time. This is when DDoS attacks become popular around those years. And that is when you basically take a ton of different computers or just kind of network connections and target one server all at the same time. You overwhelm the target and it's basically taken offline.
So if I was to look at that as understand what that is a DDoS attack is for the purpose of putting a website down. It's taking it out of its game, right? So if somebody wanted to attack a company, they could do a DDoS attack against the company and just make it so that website is obsolete. Is that right?
And why would they do that? Why do you want to take somebody's website down? What's the advantage?
Why do people spray graffiti on the walls of cities?
Because it's pretty. Graffiti can be pretty. Why do you think
it's a statement for these guys? I think it is that kind of just saying because they can.
And that's kind of been his MO all along, is he just gets excited about the fact that he has the power to go and steal the gaming code, or he has the power. He can go back to his dad and say, "Look what I did." No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, maybe not.
So Mafia Boy finally gets leg hair, and he's all of a sudden, a premier hacker. I love that. So what if you have one place to monitor all the activity of everyone in your business? That's incredible. Protect your business and your family with SaferNet. Simple cybersecurity, an app that helps shield your online presence with VPN, internet controls, virus protection, and website filters. And stay focused on what you're supposed to be focused on at work, and transform your workplace by making sure that everybody where everybody's going, and you can make sure that people are staying safe on the internet. You just got to, and to be able to see every one of your computers on your network and see where they're going and see the activity. Make sure somebody's not reading a newspaper while they're supposed to be working. Do people even read newspapers anymore? I don't know. Get secured now. Go to safernet.com. That's safernet.com. Okay, so we finally have this kid who's getting leg hair, maybe some armpit hair. That's what I was thinking. And he part of TNT, a hacking group, the elite hacking group.
Exactly. And now just for kind of some time cultural context here, this is around the year 2000. It is the year 2000. So it's the height of the e-commerce boom. E-commerce stocks are trading high. And so Mafia Boy within TNT establishes these teams, little departments, to write their own DDoS scripts. And he has plans for a project, and he calls this project Rivolta, which means revolution in Italian. And so Rivolta is to last over 8 days, and the plan of Rivolta is just to be this DDoS storm across the e-commerce internet. The first target would be Yahoo. And so what Mafia Boy did, I should say, is that when he went to school, he left all these DDoS tools running. And so while this guy is doing calculus, his computers back home are targeting e-commerce as the world knows it then. So over the following 8 days, Rivolta takes down eBay, CNN, Amazon, Dell, Yahoo, and a number of other websites. And then it causes $1.7 billion worth of damage. I don't know what that is adjusted for inflation, but
in today's world, it's at least 50% more than that.
Yeah.
Okay, so he took down these sites. And so where does the 1.7, are they saying in lost sales? Are they saying this is how much it costs them to rebuild everything? Where does these damages come from?
I think it's a mix of both, Jim. There's definitely the lost cost there, but there's actually rebuilding things like servers and getting people in to fix servers, because there was really no DDoS protection back then. So, you're getting engineers getting a call at 2 a.m. Hey, your website's gone, so yeah, there's both the hardware, there's the labor cost, and there's the lost cost of e-commerce itself.
Well, and back then Amazon just sold books, so it wasn't so bad. I mean, but what's funny is this, so you're saying that was 2000, so that was a Y2K. That was when the world was going to come to an end on computers, and he obviously figured out it wasn't going to bother them, so they just kept going.
Yeah, exactly. And so because of Revolta, the FBI were investigating the President Clinton at the time, even addressed the attacks in the address. So it made headlines. And so the FBI were using a number of different tactics. They had plants in IRC rooms, for example. They were trying to get in with TNT. There was 16 different task forces to track down Mafia Boy, who's at this point still like 13, 14 years old. They had assistance from the Mounties in Canada as well. They eventually caught him for something that would embarrass most hackers, and that's reusing a username across multiple sources. So he had Mafia Boy on like one of his old AOL accounts or something, so they could trace him immediately.
Well, what's a 14-year-old kid know about hiding?
Exactly, yeah. There was 50 charges brought against him, and he pleaded guilty to all of them. So the Montreal Youth Court sentenced him actually on September 12th, 2001, 8 months of open custody, 1 year of probation, restricted use of the internet, and a small fine. Now, the $1.7 billion I mentioned a while ago, that actually wasn't known at the time. At the time of the sentencing, they thought it was 7.5 million, but they just didn't know the actual extent of the damage yet. Now, a lot happened around this time after Mafia Boy got arrested. So there was a hearing before members of the United States Congress. There was a computer expert by the name of Win Shartow, and he had said government and commercial computer systems are so poorly protected today that essentially can be considered defenseless. An electronic Pearl Harbor waiting to happen. And former CIA agent Craig Gwent goes on to credit Mafia Boy for the significant increase in online security that took place between, we'll say, 2001 and 2011. And so
if I understand it correctly, his role or his objective was just to be known. He wasn't trying to make money somewhere. He wasn't trying to steal. He wasn't trying to do anything other than shut down or access other computers.
Yeah, which to me actually makes him more dangerous, because he doesn't have a financial motivation. He just does it for, like that Batman line, some men just want to watch the world burn,
So after he gets convicted, have we ever heard from him? I know you got more stuff you want to tell me, but have we ever heard from him again?
Yeah, we have quite a bit. So Michael's actually out and about now, and he's become a spokesperson and consultant for cybersecurity, and he works as a freelance white hat hacker. So you can hire Michael Calche, Mafia Boy, today to get him to break your system and see if it's secure. He did release a book a few years ago called Mafia Boy, How I Cracked the Internet and Why It's Still Broken.
So explain white hat hacker. I think that's fascinating and highly intriguing.
It is. And so most white hat hackers are actually a bit like Mafia Boy. They're hackers who get arrested and then serve their time and get rehabilitated. And so what a white hat hacker will do is that they sell their services. A company will employ a white hat hacker to test to see if their security good enough. So what Mafia Boy will do now, he'll hack into your company's website. And if he can get in, he'll give you a list of recommendations. He'll tell you how he got in. And then he'll give you recommendations on how to secure your systems. And then he'll keep trying until you're 100% secure.
Yeah, I just love that. These hackers will change their hat and go from black to white. And we've done that. We've had a group of 6 white hats that have just beat the tar out of our product, and then checked it out, made sure that we're operating the way that it should operate, and they're thrilled. But every once in a while, they'll come in and do their best to destroy things and reveal holes. So
what you're saying, SaferNet has been tried and tested by some of the best trying to destroy you. That's how you make it better.
Well, I believe they're some of the best, although they did get caught. So, but they were very, very good, and they've done a tremendous job for us. So, yes.
Maybe you should look up this Mafia Boy. All right, Pat. but since SaferNet, you just gave a great plug, Brad, for SaferNet. You understood this, and you made sure that you brought in people like Mafia Boy to check out SaferNet to make sure that it is as solid as you say it is, because you want to have a product that is reputable, and it's fantastic. SaferNet.com. Check it out. Okay, Patrick, finish this up.
Yeah, and so, I've skimmed through his book. I've looked at interviews with him. He has a lot to say about the current state of the internet. He really emphasizes that security, not only is it still sketchy, he actually thinks it's worse. And one of the reasons he thinks it's worse is because programs, websites, apps, everything have become more complex and have more lines of code. And increasing complexity means there's more mistakes that can appear. There's more doorways into a system. He feels that the software market nowadays only cares about getting things released as soon as possible. They're developed quickly. They're not structurally sound. He calls the current internet a hacker's paradise. He believes everybody's a target, and he feels that phishing is the natural successor to what he did with social engineering on AOL, getting the accountant of a big company to click a link, etc. He's also warns a lot about public Wi-Fi, and he said the real exploit is the human being. And just to kind of finish it up, he said the reason why people don't consider digital security versus physical security, if you get mugged on the street, you feel that it's a physical act. If someone's hacking your computer, you don't feel it. So mentally, you don't equate it to, you're actually getting robbed or that it's a crime. But yeah, there we go. So Mafia Boy, the exploit is the human being.
You may not feel it physically, but I have known friends who have been robbed on the internet by hackers, and they feel it, and they feel violated. It's very similar to the feeling of being mugged on the streets of New York City or any of those other great cities where they don't support crime anymore, or they do support crime, they don't support justice anymore. Brad, Mafia Boy, can we stop him today with SaferNet?
Absolutely. And that's the thing, is that a lot of these guys that, we study and we learn about and we understand, their whole drive or mission is to be able to do something that will give them a name. And I think it's obvious. I think if Mafia Boy wouldn't have gotten caught, he probably would have ended up in the place of saying, okay, I've got enough a name. Now I got to start making some money. And then he starts stealing or doing whatever. But the intent is to be able to access and then start capitalizing on that. And somehow he got caught before that, which is fantastic. But I got to say, I think there's a ton of Mafia Boys out there. I think there's tons of them just hacking into people's computers, networks of businesses, and truthfully, a lot of businesses will do their best to hide it because they don't want to reveal the fact that they've been exposed. They don't want to put themselves into a vulnerable state. I think that's where most small businesses need to pay close attention to what it is that's going on. Most businesses will go out of business after they're a major hack, and that's pretty scary.
Yeah, it is scary. You heard it here. The internet and everything digital can have a dark side with many dark players like Mafia Boy. It's why you need SaferNet by your side, VPN, antivirus, and it's website filters. It's just got it all. Thanks to SaferNet for supporting our efforts to bring these stories to your ears and giving them the exposure that they need. Please, for your own security and the security of those you love and those you work with, check out SaferNet.com. That's SaferNet.com and get secured today. Till the next time, click only on the attachments and the links that you trust from those you trust and delete the rest, or you may become the next victim of a digital desperado.
This episode of the Digital Desperados Podcast is brought to you by SaferNet VPN, found online at SaferNet.com. World War III started on your computer when Al Gore unleashed the internet in 1994. Want to fortify your business against cyber attacks? SaferNet VPN is the answer. Our easy-to-use cybersecurity app protects your enterprise on all fronts. Plus, secure your family's online journey with powerful internet filters. Embrace simple yet robust cybersecurity with SaferNet VPN now. Get secured now. Sign up at safernet.com. That's safernet.com.